Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Clarity Mastermind community. Welcome, everybody, to our first masterclass of this year. Yes, it's March, and I realize that we used to do these almost monthly, but we feel like we need to kind of like back off of that a little bit and provide a little more training. Hey, how's it going? um, and meet with you guys in other ways than just training and just going through different master classes. So welcome to the masterclass called How Do You Lead, a masterclass on management styles. Hey, welcome everybody. So good to see you all. By the way, if you've never been on a live stream before that is used by StreamYard, I am actually streaming through StreamYard right now. Click on allow to see your name, because a couple of you have come through and all I can see is Facebook user until you click on the link to allow StreamYard to see your name. Okay, so this is a brand new masterclass for you guys. Hey, Cindy, welcome. This is a brand new masterclass. This is the first time we've ever done it. I'm really excited about it. And a lot of people have asked me recently, what's your management style? How do you manage your team? Have you always managed the same way? Is it something that's kind of morphed over time? And the answer is yes to all of those things. Just in case some of you are kind of new to my space, I really want to just kind of introduce myself officially. My name is Angela Fallon. I'm the founder of this group, Clarity Mastermind, in addition to the founder of Your Lifestyle Leader LLC, which is where my coaching programs lie under, and along with many other businesses that my husband and I have. But I am a leader in corporate America. I've been in corporate America as a leader for over a decade. I've been in the defense industry for over 2 decades now. And I've led small program management teams where we manage, contracts and developing solutions and rolling out solutions to our customers. And I may only have 2 or 3 people on like a program management team, or maybe even like 5 people on a team. But I've also managed matrix teams of over 200 people, large engineering groups that charge into my programs. And it's a lot of people that we're trying to get on the same battle rhythm, the same direction, on the same vision, all at the same time. So I've worked as a leader for a very long time, like I said, over a decade now. I've worked with many types of leaders and managers, and I've really learned what I do and don't like. And everybody's different, right? Some people want to get strict direction on, what needs to happen today, what's the priority for today. And other people want to get some amorphous direction, say, hey, go figure out how to fix such and such. And they get the latitude and empowerment to go do what they need to do, right? Everybody's different. So I've had this question a lot lately. So I decided I was just going to make a masterclass on it and kind of what I've learned over my, like I said, over 2-decade career. I hope I look younger than that, but in kind of what I've learned, and then what do I do to apply these different styles, and maybe even how I flex them. Okay. So this is a 2-day event. So I'm expecting this to be only about 30 minutes tonight, even though it's booked for an hour. I've only planned to talk for about 30 minutes or less. We're all so ADD these days, right? We're used to YouTube shorts and reels, right? We want little bite-sized information, not 45 minutes to an hour of talking, right? So it's a 2-day event. It's today for 30 minutes, tomorrow for 30 minutes, same time, same place. And then I'm offering a bonus optional session on Wednesday at the same time if y'all want to work through your plan and how you're going to start implementing some of these styles yourself. Okay. So this masterclass is really for anybody who's already a leader, a young and budding leader, someone who wants to be a leader, or someone who wants to be able to communicate better with their leader because maybe you're struggling with their management style. Okay. And maybe give them some feedback on how they could do something different that suits you as one of their employees, one of their team members. So I hope that is helpful for all of you. If you don't have the workbook, it looks like this. If you don't have it, I put it in a link in our Clarity Mastermind group, How Do You Lead Management Styles Masterclass. All right. And so if you don't have the workbook, don't worry about it. You can drop the word workbook below if you're in Facebook watching this, and we'll get you a link to it. We will just tag you in the original link that's already in the group. and we're going to walk through these notes that I have for you, and then I have space for you to write down whatever you want as well. Okay, so there is a workbook. If you haven't got it, don't worry about it. Don't leave now to go get it. Just get a journal or a piece of paper and just jot stuff down there. We are going to go through a lot, but you can always watch the replay. Okay, so that's what I have for you right now. Workbook. There is going to be homework, so I do have homework for each session. Like I said, there's only a couple sessions. This isn't rocket science. I like using that joke because I work on missiles now and I think it's really funny. But anyways, it's not rocket science. But I gave you places to write down notes as I go along. I didn't write everything on your notes here, so you can really capture which parts are really meaningful to you, like whether it's the definition of the different types of management styles or maybe the application of it, where it may suit may suit best, and whatever suits your fancy on what you need to capture. We will be offering up new opportunities that we're going to roll out here pretty soon. I want to talk to you guys tomorrow about something that we're not launching right now, but I want you just to get an idea, maybe a taste of what we're going to be dropping in the next few months, and I'm really excited about it. Our team has got some really cool stuff coming forward. Okay, so stick around for that. Just come to both sessions. It's only an hour of your week, and it's an extremely minimal investment of your time in order to get back all of this awesome information that we're sharing with you tonight. Okay, let's see what else. I think that's all I have for you guys. So if you have any questions, you can drop them below in the Facebook group here. And if you're catching this on YouTube, you can make a comment there, and we'll get you the workbook as well. Okay, so let's dive in. So tonight, the first session, we really need to talk about like an introduction to management styles. Like, this is a foundation for everyone to kind of understand the different management styles. And I think it's good to just start with what is the definition of management styles, right? So I looked it up in multiple places and I picked the one that I thought was the most clear. It is a method used by a person in managing an organization or a group of people. So it's the method used in managing an organization or a group of people. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory, right? Now, a lot of people use leadership and management interchangeably, and you may hear me use those words interchangeably as well. So the second bullet we have here, what's the difference between management and leadership? And management consists of controlling a group and or maybe a set of entities to accomplish a goal. So it's more of controlling. This tends to be more authoritative. It's normally more do as I say, right? Management is more about controlling, where leadership is really more about an individual's ability to influence, motivate, and empower. Management normally relies on position and authority and power to manage a team, where leaders tend to be more empowering and I say charm and influence, because I have been in many roles where I've been a manager, but a leader of a team for people who don't work for me, especially when you work in program management, project management, the people who work on your project or program don't work directly for you. They work for a group of engineers. They work for a group in production. They work for a group in sustainment or, field work or whatever, design work or whatnot. They don't necessarily work for you, but they're all working towards your contractual goals, your program goals, your project goals. And that's the things that you have to set vision for a team as a leader, as opposed to managing someone and saying, oh, well, you need to get your time in and you need to meet these goals and blah, 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 blah. It's not. Leaders tend to lead more with influence. Because we really don't have the same leverage of someone who works directly for them, where you can say, I'm the one that determines what your raise is for the year. I'm the one that determines what your bonus is for the year. I'm the one that determines whether or not you get to take your vacation. Do you see the difference between what management versus leadership is? I tend to be, even though I've been in management roles, I've been leaders of groups long before I was called a manager. I was a lead in an engineering organization where I had people not work for me. We all worked for the same person, but I was expected to make sure that this team got something done in a efficient manner and all towards the same goal because I was their lead. So it's different, right? So I think it's good to point those things out because I probably will use leadership style versus management style almost interchangeably as we go through these different styles tonight. But in a lot of cases, they can be interchangeable, but there is really a nuance and a difference between management versus leadership. So I wanted to call that out before we start going into these different examples of styles. So let's dive right into the different examples of management styles. Now, whenever I looked up what I thought the different management styles were, a lot of people different talk about different things. Whether it's there's 4 main ones, there's 3 main ones, there's 8. I've seen many out there, so I've listed some of the ones here that I am familiar with, and then some of them that I wasn't, believe it or not. And I just wanted to share with you guys because I learned something about it by doing the research myself as well. So let's walk through these really quick, and then we'll talk about what your homework is for tonight. Okay. So the first one I want to talk about is autocratic. An autocratic management or leadership style is, think of the words, do what you're told. Do as I told you. When you think of autocratic, it really centers around results and efficiency, usually devoid of employee contribution or collaboration or even employee autonomy. They really don't get to do what they want to do. You do what you're told. And as I'm saying this, I really want to hear from you all what you think the most common scenario is for autocratic management style. And I'll give you a few other things too. Autocratic style leaders tend to be more micromanaging of their employees. They try to ensure that they follow company policies or organization policies, think of it that way. And they really rely on authority to provide instruction. When you think about when is this beneficial, and I really would love to hear from you guys on here that are live, what you think autocratic management styles, where they kind of find a place. So I would love to hear some of your comments below. And even if you're catching the replay, I would love to hear what you think they are. My first view of it is, and maybe I'll give you another thing of where it may be useful. So this type of management style might be useful in an emergency. Whenever you have to make a decision quickly, or you have a group of people that you need to get out of a fire or whatever, they need clear, strict expectations to solve a particular problem. So think emergency. Another thing you could think is war. When you're in war and you're in a heightened sense of awareness and fear, you're in a different place in your mind, right? Some people just need to be told, stand in this direction, hold your gun like this, and you need to aim in that direction. Some people need that, especially whenever you are in such a heightened sensory environment. You take orders, you give orders, and you take orders. So think military war scenarios. A crisis, think like 9/11. Whenever all of the first responders were there trying to pull people out of the rubble, people kept showing up saying, how can I help? How can I help? How can I help? Yeah, sometimes this kind of leaders brought in to shake things up. But if you're in an emergency situation, you got to come in and you got to make quick sense of what's going on. And then you need to start giving directions, because some people need that, especially when you're in that high stress situation and people freeze. There's fight or flight, but there's actually freeze as well. And believe it or not, I'm known for all of these. One time I was interesting story. One time I was in New Orleans, just outside of the quarter, the French Quarter, and a knife fight happened like right in front of me. And I didn't run. I don't know why my first thought wasn't to run. I literally froze in my tracks. I froze in my tracks. And luckily my girlfriend who I was there with, she's from the area. She grabbed me and she's like, oh my God, what are you doing? She pulls me away from the situation. However, there's other times where like one of my kids something happens, like my son dropped a cup when he was doing dishes and cut his finger open really bad and he was bleeding. And my husband starts freaking out and I'm like, calm down. Let's wrap this up. You need to take him to go get stitches. Go start the car. Like people just need directions sometimes. So I've actually been both of those people, but that's what autocratic is. Autocratic gets a bad rap a lot, but there's time and a place for it, right? So the second one is democratic management style. This is rooted more in collaboration, where leaders seek input from their employees before they start making business decisions or delivering solutions. They engage employees. They remain open to other ideas and experimentation. This style of management can create really strong bonds with employees and leaders. However, there's also a downside to democratic management style, and that's where people provide their input and then maybe it's not accepted, and then they get their feelings hurt and they actually push away a little bit because of it. So it's good and bad. It tends to be something you want to use whenever you're looking for innovation, is to use something more democratic, so you find more diverse and inclusive decisions. The third one I have is laissez-faire. So laissez-faire management style is for leaders that are more like hands-off, and they maintain like a really high level of confidence in their employees. And they tend to adopt this style that where they don't micromanage. They really give their employees the freedom to work um, and be delegated tasks very independently. This really works best in groups where you have highly experienced professionals. Now, I have been really blessed to have this situation more than once. In fact, the group I'm in right now has just a lot of real high performers in it because we're out trying to get this business. So we put like the best of the best people on it to go get this business and capture it. And the people I work with and have to give direction to, they're all excellent. They literally are the best of the best. The chief engineer I have is one of the best ones I've ever had, hands down. The support staff that we have are very seasoned professionals. They know what to do. You can give them kind of ambiguous direction and they just go handle it, you know? And that's really the kind of team I have. I love having a team that's just has, great experienced professionals that you can give them something and say, look, this needs to be done, and everybody understands why this is the vision. And you give that kind of high level vision and, direction on what needs to be done, not at the lowest level. I need you to go this, and this, go build me a spreadsheet that has all these columns in it. No, they know what to do. And I love that. So laissez-faire is one of the ones that I lean towards. Laissez-faire doesn't mean like I don't care. It means I trust people and empower them to go do their jobs because they are professionals and they're adults and they can handle it. And I know they can. We're going to talk about another one here in a little bit. I also use this type of management style with very high performing people who have a lot of potential, and I see their potential and I give them. Thank you. I try to empower my team. When I see that they have the ability to do more than what they've done in the past, and I let them run with it, and I love to see what they come back with. I love it. So that's another thing, but it's similar to another one we're going to talk about here in a minute. I like laissez-faire management style plus a few others. So the fourth one we have is charismatic. So charismatic management style is more like charming and highly persuasive, deeply committed to a cause. This is something like Oprah. This is someone that's, interested in building personal relationships and like rallying around a team and a common goal. And they use this style of management is really useful for helping employees feel supported. And highly engaged and motivated, and it's really towards certain business objectives. But charismatic is where people use a high amount of influence. This is quite the opposite of autocratic. It's almost like 180 degrees. So charismatic. So when I think charismatic management or leadership, I also think like preachers or ministers. We actually have a vice president in my company that I was at a women's conference just a couple of weeks ago, and she kicked it off. And the way she speaks to people and the stories she tells, I am just, yes, I am recording. This leader, I'm so impressed with her. Like, she spoke off the cuff for like 45 minutes to inspire every person in that room, and she did an amazing job at it. It was extremely impressive. And I told people afterwards, that was not a lecture. That was not training. It was like a sermon. And it was just so, like, she was just magnetic. And that's what I think about charismatic management style. It's where you lead with influence, not always like factual things. and even the, business objectives. It's the vision and why we have to be there because we're pioneering and things like that. That's what I think of charismatic management. I try to be charismatic. I am not perfect at it, but I really try to, especially whenever I try to lead with vision. So the fifth one here is the coach management style. This is really similar to like a sports team coach, dedicated to their employees or their team, ongoing development, and can quickly identify what motivates each employee to succeed. This type of leader or manager is skilled in organizing each employee's unique strengths, recognizing their strengths and weaknesses, and determining how to help them become better professionals. They often push employees to complete more challenging tasks and further develop their talents and improve their areas of opportunity. So this goes back to what I was saying earlier about kind of the laissez-faire management style. I also am kind of like this coach management style where I really, you're way too type A to be charismatic. I really like to see my employees continue to grow, and I love to see them do that. And so I do tend to give them things like load them up as much as they want, as much as they're willing to accept. I'm going to keep loading them up just to see how much they can run with, because a lot of people will hold back with new employees and say, oh, I'll give you this little thing here. And then when you're done with it, we'll talk about it. And I ask them, okay, I need help with this, this, and this. What can you take on? And if they take all of it, perfect. Let's see how it goes. I did a whole masterclass on delegating too. So like there's a time and a place for delegating. You don't delegate everything. And I've got rules on that too. But anyways, I love giving people, especially hungry talent, a lot to do and see how they do with it. A lot of times it's extremely low risk, and it impresses me with how much, when you raise the expectation and raise the bar on people, it always amazes me how they rise to the occasion. And I just love it. But that's how I feel about coach management as well. It's where you recognize what they're good in and where they, need some work on, and then give them the right thing to see them excel. I love it, love it, love it. So this next one is called pace setting. Now, pace setting management style is where leaders who practice this pace management style often set really high standards for their team. Again, I'm kind of like this, and it really concern themselves with efficiency and speed. How fast can we get somewhere? How well can we do it? And how quickly can we do it? This management style can really help build trust among employees because you recognize that they have the ability to exceed their own expectations. And then the employees recognize that their managers actually adhere to this same standard and set the same standards for themselves. I am the same way. I set really high standards for myself, and I set really high standards for my team because I know they are capable of it. I had this conversation with my oldest son this weekend too, because his grades are subpar. And I keep telling him, look, you're my kid, and I know what you're capable of, and it's not C's. In fact, you're capable of straight A's. So I want to know what you're going to do to get back to straight A's. And it's not a beat up session. I'm not dogging him for something. He knows that when I tell him you're a good kid, I know you're capable of it. Why aren't you doing it? He knows I'm not beating him up. He knows I'm pumping him up because I know he's capable of it. Pace setting management is very similar with that. However, there is a downside to pace setting management because if you're not, I wouldn't say accurate, but if you overset some goals, sometimes people feel overwhelmed with those demands and they just peter out. They get overwhelmed and they break. So it's a fine line you have to walk with this kind of management style. All right. So there's two more I have for you all. And then we're going to wrap up here quick. The next to last one I have is transactional management. So transactional management is common in a couple of areas. Transactional management really means that you enhance your employees' performance with positive rewards like bonuses and incentives and, award things. And then you actually respond to negative outcomes as well with disciplinary action. So you can kind of see the transaction of you do this, you get this. Makes sense? Tit for tat, quid pro quo kind of, right? This is highly effective in things like sales teams, for, teams that are trying to make some revenue goals. It's less useful in leading teams focused on, excuse me, driving innovation. So it's not as good transactionally for teams that are trying to create the next Google, the next SpaceX, the next Tesla. Transactional is not of benefit to that kind of environment. The last one I have for you all is transformational. So I had to add this one because I found it on a couple of websites, and it's such a big word right now. Transformational. It's a big word because people use it all over the place in professional and personal development, and people use it right now. I mean, we're doing a huge overhaul in some of our systems at my company, and it's an internal company event, a company initiative, and it's called our transformational program. It's like digital transformation, company transformation, but transformational management is about encouraging, inspiring, motivating employees to perform in ways that create this meaningful change, not only in themselves but also in the organization. It is more vision leading, but it's also leading with like feelings. It's where everyone's trying to strive to the same vision, not necessarily the how to. Now, that's the kind of interesting thing about transformational management. It's how do you go from point A to where you want to be, from your current state to your ideal state, and maybe not worry about the turns and the hills in between. How do you get there? But it's more of the vision, focus on the vision, and take the next step towards it incrementally. So it is, again, like innovation. It's one of those things where you hear fail fast. Failing fast should be celebrated, not get shot whenever you fail. That's transformational management. So, ultimately, people have to decide which of these management styles, and you don't have to use all of these. Like I said, there's even more out there. You can go Google them yourselves if you want. It's not necessarily about which one's right or wrong. It's what's going to resonate with you, and in what season do you need it, and in what situation do you need it, right? You may not need transformational management style whenever you are in a crisis scenario, whenever you're in a turnaround situation where you're in an organization that needs to be pulled out of the ditch. Transformational for just the vision, not sure how we're going to get there, may not be the right way to do that. It may not be. And maybe your personality doesn't fit transformational management style. So your homework for tonight, that's my reminder. I need to start getting ready for bed. Your homework for tonight is determine which one or ones of these styles really resonate with you. Which one do you feel like is something that you already do, or something you want to do? So that's what I'm going to encourage you all to do tonight, is to think over these different management styles, determine which one or ones of the styles resonate with you, and why. Okay. So now that we have a basic understanding of what the potential management styles are, tomorrow we will actually go over how you might apply these styles in your company, in your direct sales business, in your direct sales team, your company team, your church team, your band members, your kids' soccer team. All of these are applicable to all of those. And you just have to figure out which one really resonates with you. Okay. So that's what I have for you tonight. I would love to hear your key takeaways from tonight. I would totally love to hear that. And again, if you missed it and you're catching the replay, drop the word replay, and I would still love to hear your key takeaways from this message. Okay. We are going to make it in just another 30 minutes. Look at this. And we will see you all tomorrow in the same place at the same time. Y'all take care. Good night.